What is up, guys? Rick Hackis here. Welcome to the Diamond Camo guide for the shotguns, part 1, the R870. And I'm breaking this into parts because simply there's just so much footage I've got, and I really do want to go a little bit more in depth, and I don't really want to put up a 30-minute video. It's just going to be brutal to watch and brutal for me to upload and make. So this is the first part about the R870. And the R870 is my personal favorite shotgun. It is what a shotgun should be. The pump, I've always been a fan of the pump action. The range is pretty decent. Unfortunately, they have cut off a few feet in a recent patch because apparently the kids who used SMGs nonstop were mad that they couldn't get 2 VTOLs a game because some kid with an R870 would stop them, so they would only get 1 VTOL a game with the silenced SMGs, so they complained, and unfortunately the shotgun got nerfed. Now, I don't know how you can nerf a gun that's bullets disappear, but yes, this gun's bullets do disappear after a certain amount of time, so you're going to have to keep engagements close. There's no question that this gun is a close quarters machine, and the whole strategy of this gun and what you need to do if you want to get Diamond Camo and do well with the shotgun is you need to force people to play your game. You need to keep engagements close every time. For example, when you're running in a small map like Nuketown or Hijacked, I'm going to use Nuketown first. Your entire goal should be to get in the enemy team's house. That's how I play. I start at my house, and my entire goal in that game is to make it to their house. Once you make it to their house, don't sit in one spot. Too many kids will go into a corner and wait for people to come into a door or whatever. That is not a good idea. And that's not me saying don't camp because I hate campers and campers bad. That's not a good idea because literally it won't get you as much kills as if you are running around within the house. Literally think, I'm saying literally a little bit too much, but bear with me. Think of a route. For example, my route is I run into the house, I immediately will kill anyone in the bottom floor if there is any. Then I will immediately run upstairs and obviously killing people on the way. Upstairs, go into the top room, see if there are people there, turn right back around, go back downstairs, and not go all the way down the stairs, but look if there are any people in that main kind of room at the very entrance to the house, like the main entrance to the house. And then if there are, I kill them. If not, I go back up, and I keep doing that over and over again until I die. And now, is that kind of camping? No, it's not. Get over it. It's a R870. The other team could totally avoid me if they didn't go in the house. Now, objective games, it's different. You got to get your ass on the objective. If you're playing hardpoint, you want to go where the enemy is anyways. You got to get over to the objective. But the route thing, that is just an example for Nuketown, but the route thing should be in your mind. If you're in Hijack, do the same thing within the boat. You should not be going on the deck almost at all unless there is an objective there. Use the lower kind of bottom way underneath the deck of the boat and stick exclusively to the 2 kind of boathouses on either side where there's an indoors, and just run around there and just be a nuisance. Do not go outside. If you see guys spawning outside, I do it all the time and I get jealous, not jealous, I just get greedy and I'll go out and get 1 or 2 kills, but then I'll die. If you just stick into close quarters inside, you will have no problem getting your bloodthirsties with this gun when the time comes to get that particular challenge. You want to stay indoors as much as possible and just make it so that try to stay in situations like if you're inside the house on Nuketown, there's pretty much no engagement in that house that you will not be getting your optimal one-shot kill distance with the R870. So that's what you want to do. You want to force people to play your game, which is the close range game. And for this gun, no problem getting one-hit kills. It is an absolute monster at one-hit kills. And that's it for the just kind of gameplay guide and mechanic. Also, hold on, I just want to put in that do the auto aim glitch. It's not a glitch at all. It's very hard to explain, but do the auto aim thing where you'll see me a lot in this game. I don't usually zoom fully into my sights. I will sometimes. If I know a guy is coming, I will 100% zoom into my sights, wait for him to come, then shoot him. But I like to do it where I start zooming in and I shoot about halfway between my aim down sights being fully into my iron sights, and then me just hip firing. And what that does is it snaps on to target. And if you don't know, Call of Duty uses a auto aim kind of feature where if you were to experiment and you were just looking straight and a guy you probably have had and a guy runs by your aim and you start following him automatically even if you didn't move the thumbstick, and that's because there's a little bit of sticky aim on everyone to help with console shooters. There's none in PC shooters, but this is a totally different topic. So if you start to zoom in, what it'll do is it'll actually make the game sticky aim onto that guy, so even if he's a little bit to the side, and if you start to zoom in, it'll follow him automatically without you having to do all the work. And so that will get you quite a lot of kills. Again, it's not as accurate as aiming down sights, and if you're in kind of long range situations or you know people are coming, aim down sights over doing the sticky aim thing. But going around, I really do like to, I always press the left trigger aim. Even if I'm hip firing, I get that little bit of sticky aim bonus. It's nice. And now I'm going to swap over to recommended classes.
For the R870, kind of a normal class that I would use would be this. The R870, obviously, with a long barrel, laser sight, and the reason is long barrel you need absolutely every inch of that one-hit kill zone that you can possibly get, and so adding this adds 15% onto what the normal one-hit kill range is. And then laser sight because, frankly, you're going to be close quarters, and although aiming down the sights does make it more accurate in every scenario, you're not going to have time to aim down sights in every close quarter battle. So you're going to need to hip fire quite a lot, and this will save your life. For perks, I ignore perk 2 and go with perk 1 greed and perk 3 greed. Perk 1, Ghost, is absolutely essential. Way too many SMG bitches use Ghost like constantly, and you're gonna need Ghost in order to get into those flanking situations, into those places where you're gonna see the entire enemy team spawn or whatever, and you're gonna be moving almost all the time with the shotgun. So Ghost really does complement this class, and I use it all the time on my shotgun classes. Now the second one, lightweight. You could use lightweight. You could also replace it with flak jacket or hardline. Blind eye is pretty much useless. You're gonna die from a 100 killer drone maybe once or twice every like 5 games, so it's not too bad anymore. Hardline isn't too bad if you're in a close range map anyways, for example Nuketown, and flak jacket I've become a big fan on. Lightweight only adds 7% to the movement speed, which is a decent bonus, but frankly going too fast can get you killed sometimes. Like I die a lot when I'm sprinting, so if you kind of force yourself to play a little bit slower and a little bit more cautiously, and also you will survive a lot of those lethal grenades, especially if you're on Nuketown. Flak jacket is definitely a solid choice. I don't use a perk 2. Drifter really likes to use toughness. I disagree with him. I get the first shot off often, and frankly a lot of the time getting hit probably flinches me to their head, which can even help. So there's way more useful things to put on than toughness. For perk 3, dexterity is a must. Aiming down sights faster after sprinting. As you know, the aim down sights bonus is better than any sort of hip fire, so that's important. And also mantling and climbing faster. Like I use dexterity on every single class because I cannot stand mantling and climbing slower, because it is like brutally slow if you don't have this perk on, and you're going to be doing it a lot to kind of get around the enemy, to get in like kind of secret spots and stuff like that, so you really want to have dexterity. Now for the second one, I used to use extreme conditioning, and you can still use it, it's pretty useful, but I've become a huge fan of tactical mask. Tactical mask saves you a lot. If you're using a shotgun, speed is everything, and if you get concussed, you are just a sitting duck while people shoot at you. So I've become a huge fan of tactical mask, and frankly you sprint long enough. And if you don't know this already, if you sprint with your knife, your combat knife out, it's pretty much like sprinting with a normal gun with extreme conditioning. So that's pretty useful. Dead silence is also a solid option if you want to use it. Go ahead, but I really like tactical mask. And then I usually use a lethal. I like the bouncing Betty simply because I'm usually in their base while I'm using a shotgun, and so if I can like get in their house on Nuketown or whatever, I can toss a bouncing buddy downstairs and or close off a route so people can come up behind me or something, and the bouncing buddy will almost always get me at least one kill. So that's a solid choice, and that's why I like it. In none of these classes I will be using, well, in most of these classes I will not be using a secondary. The reason is, people do use a secondary, and it is a solid choice. I mean, when you're reloading or whatever, I would like to have a secondary, but I find that in a lot of situations when people take out their secondary, like you take out your Cap 45 or whatever, and you kill the few guys while you're reloading, but then you keep it out. You usually don't switch back to your R870, and I find that if you have a secondary, you're getting a lot of secondary kills where you would be getting shotgun kills. In my shotgun classes, I usually like to run shotgun only, no secondary. That makes it so that I have to go gung-ho with my shotgun, and I have to absolutely rely on it 100%. And it also makes you a better shotgun player overall because you have absolutely nothing to rely on except for your shotgun. So that's for my main kind of overall class. When you're doing the challenge that requires Cherry Blossom Camo, so 50 kills with the R870 and no attachments, obviously, just have no attachments there. And I like to run kind of the same perk setup I would normally, and then a bouncing buddy and 2 concussions, so I can throw the concussions into a house or whatever and make the people so they can't move very fast, and I can come in and easily finish them off with my shotgun. You may just want 1 concussion and have a perk 2, maybe toughness, maybe scavenger, or even cold-blooded or hardwired. Fast hands is essentially useless because you're not using a secondary. And yeah, that would be what I would use to get Cherry Blossom. Now, for Art of War, which is 50 kills with the R870 and no perks, treat yourself, go with Primary Gunfighter. You could use Overkill, I suppose, but I never do. I do use a secondary in this one because I have so many points to spend. Why not? A strong secondary, like I'm a huge fan of the Cat 40, so I would use that. Extended clip, which should be extended megs, but that's a whole different story. For the attachments for the R870, long barrel and laser sight as always. And then if you have the millimeter scanner, throw it on because it's pretty useful. You can maybe get some kills there. You can use the millimeter scanner, and instead of throwing on these concussions, you could throw on smoke grenade, because the millimeter scanner normally it only sees guys that aren't moving, but if there's a smoke grenade and then you look through the smoke with a millimeter scanner, it will show you everyone through that smoke. So you can have quite an advantage there. The problem is you only get 1 smoke grenade, and you can't have perks, so you can't have a scavenger. So that is why I don't have it on this class. If you don't have the millimeter scanner, throw on something like fast mag or extended clip. I would not use quick draw, and the reason is in the gameplay you're gonna see I kind of use the auto aim tactic, which is where I zoom in on a guy almost always, but then shoot usually halfway through zooming in. So I can get that quick auto aim assist on him, and it gets me a lot of kills, and I find that quick draw kind of messes with that tactic, and it kind of makes it a little wonky, and so I am not a fan of quick draw. I don't put him on any of my shotgun classes except for the KSG. And so I do like millimeter scanner the best, but fast mag and extended clip or possibly stock are your best options there.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, favorite, or even share. And if you really enjoyed, subscribe, because I'm bringing you more content all the time. And I hope you tune in next time for the next part in this series, which is covering the S12. So as always, have a good day.